Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Golf Chat Show Live. We're into what will be the last week of going live every single night, and then we'll get down to doing it every single Sunday. Welcome back to the show, Steve.
How you doing? You all right? Everything
Yeah,
well?
very good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. So you've been out on the golf course a couple of times?
Yeah, I've been out, Wednesday and today. I haven't actually played a round of golf. I just did a little bit of filming, but places are looking good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I haven't pegged it up yet. I've got a 9 o'clock tee time in the morning at Newark at my golf club. But reports, we've got a WhatsApp group with about 60 lads, 60 members on there, and everyone said who's played already how good it is, and so looking forward to it.
Now, on that note, last time we came live last Friday, we were sort of speculating what Boris might say on the Sunday, and then we're now a week ahead, and we've got golf. We can go and play golf. Everything's pretty much open bar the clubhouse and the professional shop. Do you think that has been the right decision?
I think, yeah, in a way. I mean, I was quite surprised that we were allowed to go on the course. I think I said last week that I thought it was going to be June before we'd be allowed to pick it up, but obviously they've made that decision. I think 2 balls is the right thing. They may have been able to squeeze it to 3s maybe, but 2 balls is fine. We're doing it. I think we've got 10-minute intervals at Newark. We've been told strict orders: get there 10 minutes before your tee time, get your stuff out in the car park, play your round of golf, get back in your car and go home. No touching of rakes. Bunkers are sort of out of play. They've filled all the holes in, so if you hit the flag, it's classed as going in, or within 12 inches scorecard length, it's a gimme putt. So yeah, I think they've done the right thing there. It's a shame that we can't open the pro shop and sort of have it a little bit like a system like we have it in the supermarkets, where it's one in, one out, or you walk around like an in and out, so one person behind the counter, just to give them that little bit of being able to go and buy 3 golf balls or a glove or something. So and obviously giving the pros something back as well. It's going to be really difficult times for the pros, not being able to teach and not being able to sell anything. So it would be nice to be able to sort of make a system which would work for golf clubs and pro shops, but I'm sure that'll come in the near future.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that, because you see small local shops like a local butcher's near me that's been open, and I mean that is probably the size of your average pro shop. Like you get 2 or 3 people in, and it feels busy.
Exactly.
So
I've been to
what's the difference?
Today, and and the post office is not as big as our pro shop, but there's 12 people in there.
Yeah.
Now for me, I went in, and because it was so busy, I actually come out. I didn't go in there. But for me, why is that? Why is there so many people in such a small confined space, if you like? That for me, that was wrong. That's why I sort of did a U-turn and thought I'll go back on Monday and have another go at it. But even like Waitrose, places like that, supermarkets, you're queuing up, you're 2 meters apart. It's one in, one out. They allow so many people in there. It's difficult to stay 2 meters apart when you're in a supermarket. You're crossing paths, and you're going, you're having to, you sort of see yourself hurrying past someone because you're actually getting within that space. But to do that in a pro shop, I think if you just said, one person at a time, let him come in, buy his stuff, come out, I couldn't see a problem with that as such.
No, I agree. It's funny. Kev Ray just commented on here saying his pro shop's open, just one in, one out. But I read a document from the PGA saying pro shops are not allowed to open.
That's what I've understood it as. That's what they've said, to keep the clubhouses, changing rooms, and pro shops shut.
Yeah. So I'm really surprised at that. And just because I saw on Instagram and things like this, like support local, look after local people, I'm just surprised at the fact that it hasn't been like, not a blanket decision, but leave it in the golf club's hands to say, if you want to open, you can open.
I mean, Boris had said, use your common sense and stay alert and all that. So for me, in that speech that he made, which for me was very confusing, but he's almost saying, look, if you think it's okay to do it, sort of do it, but do it, with common sense. And for me, a 1 in, 1 out in a pro shop with just a pro or an assistant working there, 2 people 2 meters apart from the from the shop counter, you pay by card. I can't see that being such a big deal, really. But
yeah, I agree. So we all know you as a European Tour Caddy, but you're a member of a golf club as well. So how are you booking on? I know you're playing tomorrow morning at 9:00. How does that work for you?
Yeah, so we've got an app. We're allowed to book 2 tee times a week to start with, and then within 24 hours of the next day, if there's tee times available, we can book again. So it's basically to try and give every member a chance of playing golf. I normally only play on a Saturday anyway. Saturdays might go and do the odd 9 holes in the evening, but it's for me, Saturdays are my golf day, really. I might play a bit more now. I'm not on the tour all the time, not away at work, but so I just basically went on the app, put me and a pal down, and we got 9:00 in the morning, which is great, really, because I can be home in the sun in the afternoon and have a sit in the garden. So
perfect, absolutely ideal. Yeah. So what rules are the golf club saying about gimmies, about how the bunkers are in play? What are those rules for you?
So obviously bunkers are not in play because we're not raking them. So they're just basically pick your ball out and drop it. The flags the holes are all covered. So if you hit the flag, it's classed as in. If it lands within 12 inches, it's a gimme putt. No shaking of hands, no chucking golf balls back to your playing partner. Again, just the common sense kind of things. So it's just going to be you with your golf ball, play your round of golf, get in your car and go home.
Yeah. I mean, when I was the other day there at filming, and you could see that not people were queuing, but it was busy, but it was done really well. One of the members had volunteered to weigh people down to the tee. He was keeping his 2 meters, and it kept it working really well. And I think the golf clubs are really going to have to rely on members volunteering, members putting themselves forward to really keeping everything safe, really, because they're going to be the police, aren't they, at the end of the day?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we're not having all these rules given us for nothing. So there's no point in 10 of you going congregating around the first tee and having a good old chin wag and then going off in 2 balls, because you might as well play all together. Yeah. So, and I think that's the way, like they've said to us, turn up 10 minutes before, get your kit out in the car park, straight to the tee, play your round of golf and then go home. So for me, that's what we'll do. And, and hopefully in a couple of 3 weeks time, it might sort of be even more relaxed, and let's hope no one's really took the mickey out of it and given it a bad name for what they've sort of allowed us to do. And then we go out and carry on playing. So fingers crossed we can get back to some kind of normality.
Because I worry, on that note of hope everybody kind of sticks to the rules, that potentially some golf clubs, whatever it might be, maybe 1 or 2 people in that club maybe go on the edge and flirt with the rules and breaking them, and then someone who's not a golfer but maybe plays another sport that's jealous of the fact that golf is back because we're in a very privileged position. And then that gets on Instagram, it gets on Twitter, it gets on Daily Mail. Before you know it, golf is closed. That's it, done. And it only takes maybe 1 or 2 people for that to happen.
Exactly. You have got idiots in every walk of life, and I'm sure we'll have idiots on the golf course. But I think with the golf courses being open now and going to be as busy as what they will be, obviously, I'm hoping the members, will keep these idiots in tow and see if they do make any kind of mistakes, pull them up on it. It's difficult when it could be one of your mates that's doing it, but you just got to say to them, look, just chill out. We've been off golf for 8 weeks now. This is our first week back. We don't want to ruin it straight away. So
yeah. So you're playing tomorrow. Remind us of your handicap, and I want to know what clubs are you playing as well. Are you playing Callaways like Dave?
Yeah. So I'm +3 handicap. My golf clubs are just there. I've got my Tour Caddy Experience bag. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah. They better be clean, then, Steve.
They're always clean, mate. I don't have to clean them because I clean them after every shot. Callaway Rogue Pros. You can see that. Callaway wedges, Epic driver, Epic 5-wood and 3-wood, and Odyssey putter.
Very nice. Those head covers are cool as well.
Yeah, they're great. So if anyone's not aware, Scott Redmond Concepts, he's if you Google him, he does bespoke head covers. That's his main business, but he did my bag as well. But yeah, you can pretty much design whatever head cover you want. It's really, really clever what he does. And then obviously I've got my little birdie on there. So a birdie, I'll give it a squeak to annoy the members.
Hopefully that's getting a few squeaks tomorrow then.
Well, I'm not holding any out. You know, I hadn't played for 5 weeks before lockdown, so this is I'm probably 3.5 months into not playing, hitting a shot. So,
what are you expecting tomorrow then? I know you said before we came on, you were just playing with a mate, but what are you expecting?
So my pal Andy Sedgwick, he's a 11 handicapper. He's useless off 11. He won't mind me saying, but he keeps talking the good game, and he'll be back. He has the odd round where he'll shoot a decent score, but 9 times out of 10, he's probably actually in betting over the last 20 years with him, he's probably paid for my house, and I'm probably still a good 3 or 4 grand up as well. So we've got a 20 quid wager on it, medal. He tried to get me to do Stableford, but I said no, it's got to be medal tomorrow. He's got 14 shots on me, so let's see how we go. But yeah, he's played twice already this week, so he's had a bit of he knows how the course he's playing.
He's definitely got a head start on you. Yeah. So coming out of lockdown, we're starting to see some things be lifted. For example, like obviously we can play. We've got actually an exhibition match going on this weekend with Rory DJ versus Fowler and Matt Wolf. Now, then that goes through my head. I appreciate there's less people playing in that event, and they're probably all based in the US. But if they can get an event on like that capacity, why can't they just play a smaller event with less players potentially? Like,
I think the main thing that's sort of holding the tour back at the moment is obviously airlines not flying most places, hotels are shutting down. Can't go and sit in a restaurant, you can't have a drink at a bar. All them are a major part of being on tour. We need to sleep, we need to eat, we need to get to places. So for me, 156 golfers and 156 caddies in one hotel on one golf course, plus your cameras, if they're going to film it, and then if there's any volunteers to help spot balls and stuff, forgetting the crowds, there's still a lot of people in one venue. And you got to remember, we have caddy lounges, we have players lounges where we go and have our breakfast and lunches. Now, again, there could be 30 or 40 people in there at one time. They're not that big of lounges, so to spread us 2 meters apart and then have people serving us,
not going to work.
Not going to work. And and obviously you got to remember the cost of it all as well. So I think they're doing the right thing by holding back. Obviously we all want to we're gagging to get back out on the golf course and compete again. Hopefully we'll do it again this year, but it's best to be safe than sorry in my eyes. Let's just take his time, get back. Keith Pelly and his team have got it all under control. They know what's what. They know where they want to be and when they want to be there. And until we sort of hear from the government that airplanes are going to start taking off again and things like that, then you imagine a 300 passenger plane with all those golfers on it, and then someone's got it or and spreading it around. Before you know it, the tour's wiped out. I know they're on about doing loads of testing on us all every single day, etc. But again, it's you just got to take your time. We'll get back there. There's more important things than golf in my eyes. Health and safety. Don't forget, we're all coming back to young families as well. How would you feel if you said, yeah, let's get out there, let's go and play golf, and then you come back and pass it on to one of your members of the family? It's just not worth it.
No. When you get given a date to say, okay, in 3 weeks' time we're going to be off lockdown and we're going to start flying, the tour's going to start. Will you and Dave go and do some work at home prior to that to get ready, or will you just wait?
No, we won't do it together. We may go out to the tournament a few days early, which we've done when we've had a couple of months off over Christmas and New Year, say, for example. The first tournament of the year is normally in Abu Dhabi. So we'd probably go out to Dubai 5 or 6 days before, catch up. Mate, I might even have like this year, I had 2 rounds of golf with him. So I actually played myself. But just to get a bit of an idea on where he is and what his thoughts are, etc. But when you've been with your player for such a long time and you know how it works, nothing seems to change as such. No matter how much time you have off. So yeah, we're pretty good like that.
Have you had anything from the tour to say we're trying to get ready for this date, we're trying to get moving?
No, not giving us any dates. No, they keep us at, obviously every week we have emails from our caddy association which have passed on from the tour, just to say what tournaments are being cancelled. It wasn't until yesterday, for some reason, I went on to my booking.com and I'd got 2 hotels booked next month. And I hadn't cancelled them, and them tournaments are now been cancelled. So I could have, I'm pretty sure if I'd have forgot about it, booking.com would have been okay with me and said, yeah, we understand. And I'm sure them hotels would be shut anyway, but I had to go through all my hotels and make sure. So I've left one that is towards the end of the year that I've still booked, but the others I've had to cancel because they're in the next few weeks.
Just on that, so at the start of the year, so do you sit down with Dave, get your schedule and say, we're going to be at these events, and then do you literally go through and do a blanket booking? And
pretty much, yeah. Some tournaments are more difficult than others to get a decent place, and we tend to stay at different hotels every year in certain events. For example, somewhere like Wentworth, it's very expensive that week to book a hotel or an Airbnb or so. So you tend to find that anywhere near the course within 10-minute drive, you're going to spend plenty of money. Where if you go and spend, go to sort of Heathrow, which is 35 minutes away, but then you've got to worry about traffic and if you can get to the course on time and all this, that, and the other, you're halving your cost of the hotel bill. So it tends to be a difficult one every year, that tournament. But yeah, at the start of the year, you pretty much know you go back to sit the same courses pretty much every year. There might be a few new ones, but I make a record of where I've stayed, and I always put if it was a good hotel or a bad hotel, and if it's good, then I'll rebook it for the following year.
Should have like your own review system for caddies.
Yeah, we should, yeah, it's not a bad idea
that. And so on the notes of like the European Tour and the PGA Tour, and there was sort of the speculation before lockdown, and this fantastic, well, meant to be fantastic Premier League of golf. Does things like this and lockdown and money and maybe lack of sponsors for both tours, does that bring that more into fruition? Is that more likely to happen for you in your idea?
Again, it's a difficult, especially with the situation we're in. It's very difficult to know what's going to happen going forward. I'm sure it's going to be very difficult for sponsors and people like that support the tour. And don't forget, the tour relies on crowds to pay on the doors, and that's where we get the sponsors get their money back. Now, doing a tournament with no crowds, not getting any revenue back from that side, that's again a new challenge that we're going to be facing. So yeah, it's a difficult. The Premier League of golf, I don't think that'll go ahead. It seems to be you join our tour and you're not allowed to play any other tour, the way I understand it. And I think that's why the likes of Rory and the big names have sort of boycotted it and said, I've been happy on these 2 tours, what I've been on all my life. All right, yeah, it's 20 tournaments and we're going to be playing for a serious amount of money. But, if I'm not allowed to go and play my home tournament in Ireland or, things like that, then I think that's why, they've sort of squashed it. So I don't think that'll go ahead. Whether the European Tour and PGA Tour would ever merge in the future is an option, but again, you've got 200 members of the European Tour and 200 members of the PGA Tour, so you're not going to have a tournament with 400 golfers on. Place is not going to be big enough, not going to be enough light, and it's just not going to be. Well, you can't do it, so you'd probably have to do it a bit like football and have a Premier League, a Champions League, Championship League, League One. And rank it that way, maybe. But for the foreseeable future, I can't see anything changing.
No. If you did that and you had like one tour of golf, would that kind of, you're saying that would kind of elapse the Challenge Tour and Web.com, and they'd be like kind of League One and League Two?
Well, absolutely, because if you're on the Challenge Tour, you're thriving to get to the European Tour. That's your stepping stone. And obviously, if you're on the European Tour, you'd love to try and be a top golfer and be on the PGA Tour, and and then be able to do your schedule where you can do so many in Europe and so many in the US. So I don't know how it would work, how the Challenge Tour and Web.com Tour would work if you've only got one tour as such. And again, and how many members that one tour could hold. So again, it's I think it would have to be split up into rankings, and then you have tournaments. So if you're in, say, rank 1, 2, and 3, and 3 being the best, you're in rank 1, you can be promoted the next year to rank 2 maybe, and so many get the card for rank 2, so many come down from rank 3 and up from rank 1, something like that maybe.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
It could be, yeah. And also, then if you've got one tour and people are publicizing this, then you're probably going to make more sponsors out of that. So it's not just going to be Americans doing American sponsorship and Europeans doing European sponsorship. You're going to get that sponsorship out worldwide then.
Yeah, it's like almost like you sponsor it, you get advertising across every single event, so that money's divvied up a lot around on each event, and that got to be so much more benefit, I'd say, one for the European Tour, but also potentially for like things like the Challenge Tour as well, because the Web.com, like guys on there who are like at the top, they're earning some serious money.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we always think that when European Tour, although it's got a lot better over the last few years since sort of Keith Pelly's joined, and we've got the Rolex events and stuff. We're playing for, there's 7 events. We're playing for $8 million or whatever it is per event. It's big money, but that's just a normal week on the PGA Tour. So that's what they play for week in, week out. And their big tournaments are like 12, 13 million prize fund. So I think if you asked any European Tour player, would you like the option to go and play in America? They're all going to say yes, because you're playing for probably 3 or 4 times the amount of money.
And as a caddy as well, that makes a massive difference.
Because sort of if you get into that category where you can play in both, you will probably play 8 events on tour throughout the year, which is guaranteed money, and last place is about 40,000 quid. You go in there knowing that you're going to come away with a nice check even if you shoot 4 80s.
Yeah.
So it's and then if you was lucky enough to do well and have a top 10 finish, it's sort of you're made for the year then.
Yeah, exactly. So it make a real difference, wouldn't it, to everybody?
Massive difference, yeah.
So going back to the Tour Caddy experience, and I know you're the man who heads all this up. When would you be likely to get that going again? Because you want to provide a service to everybody that comes. Yeah. I think it's amazing as well. I think it's a great way people can actually improve without changing the golf swing, and that might sound strange coming from a PGA golf professional, but I'm a big believer in stuff like this, because I think the people that potentially don't have the time to really improve, for example, their technical aspect, they could really save shots very quickly by having one of these experiences.
Well, the amount of people that come to us and say, I'm ripping the ball great, I drive it brilliantly, my iron play is great, my wedge play is great, but when I go on the golf course, can't play to my handicap.
Yeah.
Now, that's all well and good. You've got your ball striking's brilliant. You've got your shot shapes. You know what you do, but if you don't know how to get around the golf course and play to your strengths, you're on a downhill battle straight away. So what we do is we analyze you, see how good you are, what your strengths are. We sort of find out a little bit about you before we go out on the golf course. But then as we're going round, we might take you out of your comfort zone a little bit and ask you to do a different shot than what you would try and do. And we'll drop 2 balls down. Right, you play the shot you want to play, and then do the shot that we want you to play by doing it this way. And I'm not blowing our own trumpets, but we've got years and years of experience caddying for some of the best players in the world, and we learn a lot. So for us passing it on to a 10 handicap golfer, it's pretty simple. The amount of times I see it week in, week out, playing with my mates on a Saturday, pro-ams on a Wednesday, make silly mistakes when they don't need to. If they knew how to get around the golf course to their strengths, their ability, I mean, for example, I had a Challenge Tour player come and see one of the first weeks out, and he'd got he hit a country mile off the tee. Iron play great, but from 120 yards inwards, it was a full thrake with every lobbed club. It was up in the air. Now you get a windy day, and luckily the day that we played, it was a windy day. You couldn't get the ball on the green, let alone to 2 or 3 feet where you want to try and make an up and down. So, you know, I'm a +3 golf, so I can play some shots. Now I don't normally hit any shots on the golf course, but because I knew him, and he was a really good golfer, I just said to him, look, show me a knocked-in shot. I want you to hit a 9-iron, but hit it 120 yards. You know, his 9-iron went 160 normally, but I want you to play it. So I want you to feel it. Show me how you do it. How would you do it? Well, I'd probably just guess it, really.
At that level, you can't, can you?
I said, hang on a minute, you're a Challenge Tour player wanting to be on the European Tour. There's no guesswork involved here. This is all your feel and skill. Now, David Howell, who I caddied for 6 years, was amazing at feel. You know, he really knew what kind of length of swing. He always used to have a clock, so he'd go a 9, a 10, and a full swing. And as you'll see on my golf clubs here, I write. I don't know if you can see that because it's shiny, but I write.
Yeah, got it.
My yardage on, and that's all through working for Dave, because that's what he did. Now he had three numbers for each golf club. Now a full swing, a 3/4 swing, and then maybe a knocked-in shot. But he would know that length of swing, and whenever we got over a shot, we could discuss it. If it was into the wind, we didn't need to get the ball in the air. Wanted to sort of go through the wind a bit better. If it was a 6-iron full shot, we'd probably go to a 3/4 5-iron and just try and knock it in so the wind took it all out of play. Now, I'm pretty sure if the amateurs are listening to this, they'll think, wow, that's something that I never would have thought of doing.
Yeah.
You see a number, 160 yards, oh, that's my 6-iron. But we've got 14 clubs in the bag. They're in the bag for a reason, because you like them. You wouldn't have a club in the bag that you don't like, and if you do, get rid of it now, snap it over your knee and get a new one. But you know, them 14 clubs are there for a reason. Now I don't hit the ball a country mile. I'm probably 260, 70 off the tee, but I'm, you know, these young whippersnappers coming through. Now my club championship that I'm playing when I can, I won it the last 3 years on the trot. Now these lads that are playing full time, +1 handicappers, hit it 320 yards off the tee. I'm winning by 7 or 8 shots every tournament, because I'm just plotting my way around. And eventually they have that one bad tee shot that gets them in trouble and makes them a 6 or a 7, and they're out the tournament. Where I'm just plodding it down, plotting my way around, shooting 2 or 3 under around, and you know, and getting it around the golf course. These handicaps are there for a reason. If you're a 10 handicapper, use your 10 shots and use them well. You know, don't try and take it on to make that birdie net eagle, because you don't need to. That's why you've got a shot. Plot your way around. If you make a bogey and it's a net par, you're happy because you've played to your strengths. If you have that kind of mindset, eventually you'll realise that, hang on a minute, that where I was playing to try and make a bogey with my shot, you might hold that 12-footer, you might chip it close, you might even chip it in. And before you know it, you've gone from a very comfortable bogey net par to making a 4-net 3 or a 3-net 2. You know, and as you go, you'll only improve. You know, and that's what we're there to teach.
So with that Challenge Tour player, obviously has he developed skills that are better than knockdown shots now?
He's now got a full card on the Challenge Tour, where he was sort of in and out.
Yeah.
And you know, I still keep in touch with him, and he does say, you know, he even sent me a video not long after our session. Watch this, and it was like a 3/4 9-iron shot, and it was going in. You know, so it's all about knowing what, you know. And again, that was out of his comfort zone. But even though it was out of his comfort zone, what he was comfortable in doing wasn't working for him. It was up in the air, wind was getting it everywhere. He could never get the distance control right, because it was always, the wind was knocking it about. So these knocked-in shots come in a lot lower, a lot less spin, you know, and it goes through the wind, and he could judge it properly then. And you know, with the devices we've got today, like I mean, I use this little gizmo here. I don't know if you've seen these, Alex. You've probably even got one, but Flight Scope Mevo.
Oh, the class, aren't they? Yeah. How good is it?
Brilliant bit of kit. I mean, I think it's retails at like 500 quid or something like that. But these devices for a TrackMan or a FlightScope full version, you're looking at 15-20 grand. This is 500 quid, and it tells you everything you need to know. It gives you your clubbing, your yardages, your spin rates, you know. And I use this. I don't really use it a lot with my long game, but my short game, for example, if I ever do go and practice, which I don't really tend to do a lot of, I'll set my app up and just set myself a little game. Right, I'm going to hit it 93 yards, and I'll try and hit a 93 yard shot and see how close we are. So these are a great bit of kit, and you know, I show these to all my Tour Caddy experienced clients, and no end of them have bought them. You know, they think it's a great bit of kit. So yeah, it's certainly something to think about.
Definitely, and I actually did a test that versus the XI FlightScope. And it's surprising how accurate it is.
It is.
Like the price point.
To be honest with you, something that small, you'd think, oh, there's going to be like a 5 or 6 yard dispersion. But I've been on the range with Dave, put that next to his TrackMan, and it's within 1 or 2 yards most of the time. It's never a big,
no.
You know, and for someone that's a mid-handicap player, 1 or 2 yards is fine.
I always think if you're using that device, and that's the only device that you use, you're not swapping and changing between two. That's always what it's going to be. So that's just your lens.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and the good thing about that is you can use it in the net at home. So while we're in lockdown, you can put that behind you, 3 yards behind you, 6 feet behind you, something like that. Put it behind you, hit it into the net, and it reads out how far you're hitting your 7-iron. I did a little video on my YouTube channel, actually. I don't do a lot of YouTubing, but I did a little video just promoting this. And first swing, I said my 7-iron goes 162, and it come out at something like 159.7 or something, you know. So it's there or thereabouts.
Yeah. I just want to go back to another point. I know you mentioned it earlier about David Howell having great feel, and then a new young player on the block not really having the different shots. Now, I see that quite a lot now in the younger players that can smash it a long way. They're almost sort of one-dimensional, aren't they? Whereas you're going back to, like, I'm going to put it in inverted commas, old school players.
Yeah.
They have the ability to, in my opinion, play golf like an art kind of thing. Whereas now it's like brash and hit. Is that a fair statement?
I think you're absolutely right. And I think that's the downside to it is through technology, you know, because the golf courses are getting longer. The technology is getting better, and all these young kids are hitting it 300 through the air all the time. Yeah. So it is, you know, when a young kid comes to me and says, what do I need to do to get on tour? Well, you need to hit it 300 through the air, you know, and you need to be able to have a little bit of feel around the greens. The in-between doesn't really make that much difference, because if you imagine someone like David Howell, for example, it's at 280 off the tee. Now, if he misses the fairway on a 460-yard par 4, he can't get a 5-iron out the rough because the rough's dead deep, you know, thick. Now, you get someone like Brooks or Rory that's sitting at 340, they've got a wedge in their hand.
Yeah.
You know, so they can hack it out this rough and get it, if not on the green, but somewhere near the green. Dave's got an 80-yarder for his third shot to try and make a par, because he's having to hack it out of rough that's, you know, really thick. Some golf courses you can get away with it. You know, the course, you know, the rough won't be that thick. But on you know, certainly on like the PGA Tour, that's why these lads do so well, is because they smash it as hard as they like. If they miss the fairway, they can still wedge it on the green.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. I totally agree, and I do think some of these. I'm going to sound stupid comment here. These guys are obviously very good at golf, but I do think the element of being able to take a little bit of the old school is such a valuable skill, and we almost see it. I think when some of the Americans, when they first come and play the Open, and it's the Open in bad conditions, they get found out a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why you see someone like Phil Mickelson. They'll always come and play the Scottish Open the week before.
Yeah.
Just to try and get a feel of links golf, you know, and Phil's a really good example, actually, because he does play the knocked-in shots. You always see a sort of cut-off, followed-through swing to knock it in and play that, you know, and obviously the best in the world, Tiger, you know, you always see him hitting them stinger shots, and that's why and going back to course management here, you watch Tiger in an Open competition, it's not very many woods he pulls off the tee. It's always low stinging irons. It's firm. It's running. He gets it 6 or 8 feet off the floor and he just drills it, and it runs 300 yards anyway. Yeah. Where the likes of the smaller hitters, they can't do that. So they're going to have to hit drivers. So that's where the likes of someone like Tiger is very, very good at plotting his way around. And you always see, he never, day 1 to day 4, he'll never get tempted to pull the driver again. He always sticks to that game plan. That's what he's got in mind. And that's why he's probably won so many tournaments.
Does that sticking to the game plan come from him and the caddy, or more from the caddy?
No, I'd say from both. Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, the player's always got the final say. You can have as much input into it as you like, but if they decide to overrule you, then that's it. You're done. You can only put as much info your way as you can. So I think what they would do is, like we do on the in our relationship with Dave, is that we'd go out. I'd say, what shot you tell me what shot you see here. And then if it was totally against what I was thinking, I would say, well, I don't like that because, and then I'd have to sell it to him. If you don't hit a straight shot, you're going to finish here, then you're blocked out by that. Or if you pull it left here, it kicks down there and it could go out of bounds. All these different scenarios where then I would say, but if you hit 3-wood, you've got none of this, you've got none of the kicks, none of the out of bounds is. It's going to leave there, or it's going to leave you a longer shot in, but it's a tough hole. We're going to respect it. We're going to try and make 4-4s and get out of here, happy. And then we make notes in our book to say, yeah, that's the game plan we're going to stick to. And unless the weather changes massively, which it doesn't normally, because we have the weather planned out from the start of the week where the wind direction is going to be, you can pretty much plot what club you're going to hit off every tee before you start.
Yeah. Well, Steve, thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Absolutely class again. And guys, thank you for listening to us today on the Golf Chat Show Live. As always, stay safe. And Steve, enjoy your golf tomorrow. Make sure you take the money.
I will, yeah, it'll be all over my my Twitter with me £20 held up.
Go and follow that, guys, and you can follow. Put up as a bit of a halfway point. What's after 9 holes score tomorrow?
I'll do that. I'll tag you in it.
Perfect. Cheers, Steve. Thanks so much, guys.
Yes, pal.